What's up guys, and welcome back to another video on the MF Automotive YouTube channel. In this video, I bring you a review on the 2019 Audi A5 Coupe. A big thank you to my friends over at Select Auto Center located in Toronto, Ontario for giving me the opportunity to review this awesome vehicle. If you guys are in the market for any new or used vehicle, whether that be luxury or mainstream, make sure to check them out. All their contact information, including their address, can be found in the description box below. Also, if you're interested in this specific vehicle, if it's still available by any chance, I will include the link in the description box below. Regardless, back to the review. This is the 2019 A5 Coupe, Audi's mid-level sports coupe based on the A5 model designation. The 2019 model year represented the second generation of the A5, which was initially introduced to the world back in 2008, or known to Audi fanatics by the chassis code B8. The second generation was then introduced in 2017, or otherwise known as the B9, and the 2019 model year was just a continuation of that generation, albeit with a few additional changes. The Audi A5 is available in three different body styles: the coupe like we have here, sportback, and convertible. The sportback was previously unavailable in North America, but the introduction of this new generation brought along with it that body style. The main competition for this vehicle is unsurprisingly also German. Both the BMW 440i xDrive and Mercedes C43 Coupe are strong competitors of this vehicle. Under the hood, the S5 features a 3-liter turbocharged V6 engine producing 354 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. It's mated to an 8-speed Tiptronic automatic transmission. Power is routed through all four wheels via Audi's Quattro all-wheel drive system. My short drive in the S5 was just how effortless the power delivery was. There is a bit of initial lag once you apply some input, but it just takes off once that boost kicks in, an attribute of those turbos. The exhaust also leaves behind these nice blips when you're decelerating. The transmission is also great for not being a dual clutch. It delivers quick and seamless shifts. Fuel economy ratings for this engine are as follows. As I mentioned before, in my Audi S6 review to be specific, German manufacturers tend to do trim levels a little differently as opposed to their Japanese or even American counterparts. For the most part, you choose the powertrain you want and then individually select the options which fancy your personality. Audi for the most part is quite reasonable with this and will in fact even give you the option to opt for a trim level with the opportunity to add a few extra options on top. These trim levels, at least on newer Audis, go by Comfort, Progressive, and Technic, at least here in Canada. These names may vary based on your region. This specific vehicle here is equipped with the Technic trim, forgive me if I mispronounced that, which is the highest trim level you can opt for. This vehicle here also features some of those extra set options. With all that information in mind, let us talk about the exterior styling, which is subjective. You either love it or hate it. However, I think we can all agree that Audi designed some of the best looking cars on the market, and this one is no exception. Now, the previous generation featured styling that was definitely more jagged around the edges and had more points, as opposed to this one, which is, well, kind of rounder. I'm still not the biggest fan of the front, especially the headlights, which are just a little bit too wide for my taste. Some key features to point out on the exterior are 1. The headlights. They feature LED low beams, high beams, and turn signals. They don't produce a light show like you see on more modern Audis, but they are nice to look at nonetheless, and of course offer great visibility. Under the Audi logo sits the front camera for our top view camera system. The front grille can also be blacked out if you opt for the black optics package. Coming back to those aforementioned options, vehicles that are equipped with the driver assistance package will have a differently styled lower front fascia. You've probably seen it before where they have those two dots that mimic fog lights, but they're actually the sensors for the radar cruise control. Moving on to the side profile, which features these cool door handles that open upwards, and you've probably seen this before on Audi and even some Porsche vehicles. Both are from the Volkswagen Auto Group, so that would be expected. The hood on this vehicle is quite long, and with that comes a large hood piece. It took quite some effort on my part, to even get it open, but one of the styling cues I really like is how the hood actually dips down on the side. The fender has actually been shortened to have the hood flow over the sides. I think it's a really cool design cue, and the best thing about it is that it resembles the styling of the Audi R8. The silver mirror caps contrast nicely and are a good way to resemble an S model from just something like an A5. Last but not least, the rear features these cool LED headlights and this cool rear diffuser with these points sticking out. 4 exhaust pipes also dress the back and make some lovely noises. With the exterior styling discussed, let us move on to the interior, which sitting down in the seats, first of all, you are instantly greeted by an arm which extends outwards and hands the seatbelt to you. How nice. Just wanted to mention that because it's a small but nice detail. Regardless, moving on, much like the exterior exudes a sophisticated and high quality feel. Material-wise, the entire top part of the dashboard is covered in soft touch plastic, which also has a nice grain feel to it. The door panels are a combination of the same type of soft touch on the upper part with this Alcantara insert in the middle and leather down below. The trim found around the interior is carbon fiber, which has a gloss finish to it. This accents the interior nicely, and again is part of an optional interior package. The leather even extends into the footwell, so you have something soft to rest your leg against, if that's your thing. Sitting on top of the dash is an 8-inch Audi MMI display. Like older Audi models, however, it does not retract into the dash with a push of a button. The infotainment is controlled via a knob located just above the transmission. The infotainment is quite similar to other MMI-equipped models and displays the icons in a circular motion. It's quite simple to use, although the graphics are a little dated. This has been remedied on the refresh of the S5 though, which boasts a bigger display and obviously the newest version of MMI. Another benefit of using this infotainment is the addition of Google Map displays for the navigation system, which will eliminate the need for you to use your phone, as most people do not prefer the navigation which is initially built in from the factory. Although Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are also included for your convenience. Around the knob is also some shortcut keys to access menus quickly, along with the numbers being for our set radio station. The top view camera system is also incredible. Not only is it incredibly helpful, but the graphics are simply superb and virtually every view you select is really high quality. Rear cross traffic alert is also a part of the system. This is also another option which this vehicle is equipped with. Moving down below brings us to the climate controls, which is a dual zone system in the front and obviously one zone in the back. It's controlled via these 2 metal knobs. The display in the middle shows these icons and they are changed with the buttons directly below them. We also have some physical buttons surrounding the cluster. Moving down further reveals this row of horizontal buttons. The main one being the drive select button, which can select between 4 different modes: comfort, auto, dynamic, and individual. Most of these are self-explanatory, but dynamic essentially stiffens everything up and increases throttle and transmission sensitivity. It also firms up the steering and suspension. Individual lets you control, individual settings. For instance, if you want to make the steering wheel firm but leave the suspension in its softest setting, it allows you to do that. Auto has the vehicle decide based on your driving as to what mode will best suit the current situations. The rest of the buttons on this panel are vehicle controls, and the few buttons they decide to leave blank really make that section of the interior and Audi in general look unprofessional. Moving down reveals 2 cup holders with a section in front for some storage, a USB port, and a 12-volt outlet. Moving down further brings us to the aforementioned infotainment knob, and below that we have our transmission selector. Unlike a traditional one, however, it doesn't really move. See, it doesn't travel very far and clicks just up and down and to the side to shift manually via the paddle shifters mounted on the wheel. The selections are made by clicking the button on one side and shifting down for park, up for neutral, and more, and a double click up for reverse. Move it to one side and, like I mentioned, you can shift the vehicle manually. An S logo is also present behind the shifter, and beside it sits our volume knob. Another small detail which really adds to the experience are these accent lights which light the door panels and other parts of the interior, especially visible at night or in a tunnel. A feature which is exclusive to Audi models, I think, for the most part, and is very satisfying is the fact that whenever you turn any knobs or a majority of the buttons on the interior, they make this clicking noise. Just take a listen. Yep, that's a touch that more manufacturers should definitely implement. Anyway, moving on, the steering wheel is a flat bottom design and is relatively small, adding to the agile feel when going around corners. Behind the wheel sits our Audi virtual cockpit, simply perhaps one of the best in the business. Not only does it exude crisp graphics, but the whole thing can be made into just the map view. The view can be changed via a button on the steering wheel and can be cycled between just a tachometer, different information to either side, or you can have the map cover the whole display and have the tachometer and speedometer at the bottom. It also displays trip, audio, vehicle information, and more. A heads-up display is available, but that's, like I mentioned, an additional option. On top, we see a moonroof that resides to let in natural light into the cabin. It's operated by the controls up top, and in the same vicinity are different controls too, which specifically want to talk about the interior lights. They are LED, and you won't really notice a button to turn them on, but that's because they're by actually tapping the light themselves. So you do a double tap and the lights turn on, you double tap them again and they turn off. Again, a unique but kind of gimmicky touch, which also eliminates the need to add additional buttons. Not that pushing a button would be very difficult in the first place, but still a neat touch. The door panels house the speakers for the B&O audio system, which I believe is also an additional option, and we also have these door pockets for storing miscellaneous items. The mirrors are heated as you would expect from a vehicle of this caliber, and another thing I love about Audis, and I think Porsche does this too, like I mentioned before, is putting the blind spot indicator light on the inside of the mirror and also making it quite big, so you can actually see it via your peripheral vision. You don't actually have to kind of really turn your head to look at it. Normally manufacturers mount it on the mirror and it's kind of hard to see sometimes, but I like how Audi does it on the inside of the mirror. The seats, which are not only great to look at but also immensely comfortable, feature two-person memory. They also have this intricate pattern which just adds to the opulence and makes this one of the best seats in the class. The S logo is also embossed into the seat. Moving along to the rear seats, which feature the same pattern by the way, but of course are not very spacious. They may be fine for children, but they are purely there for the sake of telling you that it includes the extra seating capacity. To get to the rear seats though is quite simple. A switch located on the front seat moves it back and forth. Any loop, which you can see here, is pulled and the backrest can be moved to make getting in and out easier. There are also some additional air vents in the back, and the materials, including the Alcantara, also extends the back, which is a nice touch. There are also some additional air vents in the back and also the option to make both the seats in the back heated, along with of course the ones in the front. Now, at least let us talk about the trunk capacity, which is nearly 329 liters. There's also some nets on the side, and the rear seats do fold down via these tabs found in the trunk. Surprisingly, a spare tire is also present when you lift the cover up, and it's actually quite big. Well guys, that wraps up my review on this amazing 2019 Audi S5 Coupe. If you guys did enjoy this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.